If your partner yells at you, there's only one thing you need to do, and that is ask yourself one specific question. And that is, do I feel safe with my partner? And you might automatically think, well, yes, I'm physically safe with them. They don't hit me, they don't throw things at me. And yet I want you to pause and I want you to go a little bit deeper. Do you feel emotionally safe with your partner? And what that means is, do you feel like you can make mistakes and have different opinions or needs or limits with your partner without being blamed or attacked or yelled at? Do you feel emotionally safe, or do you feel like you have to walk on eggshells with your partner to keep them happy and not make them explode at you? Because some people are absolutely okay with yelling, they feel like they're passionate people, and they're okay with that. For those couples, yelling's not a problem. But if it makes you feel on edge, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you need to go deeper. And if you don't feel safe with your partner because they yell, the next step is going to be that it's time to set meaningful boundaries. And you might think, well, I've already told them that I don't want them to yell, but they keep doing it. And if that's the case, let's use this method called the ICE method for setting boundaries. Whether you've tried or not, let's use the ICE method. The ICE method is really simple. To set an effective boundary, you're going to identify what you need. So in this case, you probably need your partner not to yell at you, even when they're mad. The second step is that you're going to communicate this boundary with your partner very simply. You're just going to state the situation, express the limit, and you can thank them for listening. And then finally, you're going to evaluate what your partner does once you set a boundary. Because at that point, you get to decide if they're showing up as a safe person now, or if they're continuing patterns of not being safe for you. And then you'll go a little bit deeper after that. So the first step is you're going to identify your need. In this situation, it's probably that you just want your partner to speak to you kindly and not yell at you, even when they're mad. And then you're going to communicate that very simply. You'll state the situation and what you need. You can say something like, I know sometimes our arguments get heated and you sometimes yell. Moving forward, I need you to not yell at me even when you're mad. Thank you for respecting that. It's that simple. That's it. And then once you express that boundary, you get to assess, you get to evaluate if your partner wants to show up for you as a safe person, and if so, wonderful. And if not, you'll need to go a little bit deeper. So a safe partner, if your partner's safe for you around this, they're going to take genuine accountability. They're going to apologize for yelling at you. They're going to know that it doesn't really matter how angry they were with you. They need to respect you. They need to speak to you with kindness. And that means maybe they're going to take action steps to make sure that they don't yell at you. Because safe people take genuine accountability, which means they make the changes they need to be safe for you. So if your partner needs to take a break when they're mad at you instead of yelling, great. If your partner needs to go to therapy to kind of work on why they yell, maybe they saw it in their own family growing up and it just seems normal, they can do some work around that. Or maybe they need to go to some anger management classes. But they're going to do what they need to be safe for you. They don't make excuses. Safe people don't make excuses. They just respect your limits. And so at that point, wonderful. If your partner's showing up for you as a safe person, great, we're done. But if your partner pushes back on you for your boundaries, maybe they say, you're just too sensitive, yelling's not a big deal, every couple yells, that's actually not true, then they're struggling to take genuine accountability. They're struggling to be a safe person for you. And that's not your fault. Your boundary still is meaningful. And so at this point, a lot of times people will give up their boundaries. They'll question if they really need them, or they'll water them down, or they'll say, please don't yell at me, but then they don't set a consequence for that. And really, boundaries are meaningless without consequences. What that means is if someone yells at you again, if your partner yells at you again, you need to go a step further. I know that you yelled at me again. I know that it's hard to change this behavior, but I really need you to follow through on respecting this. You follow through on that. And you can say things like, the next time you yell at me, I'm going to leave the house. The next time you yell at me, I'm going to need us to go to couples therapy. That's, a non-negotiable at that point. And you can do things like that, and then you implement that consequence. If they yell at you again, you find that couples therapist, you go to couples therapy with them. They need to follow through on that. If they continue to be unsafe for you, blaming you, saying they'll change, but they don't. Again, this is a pattern of a lack of safety, and that's a sign of a larger problem in your relationship. And at that point, it's really important to keep evaluating, what do I really need? Because you absolutely have the right to stay with a partner who's not safe for you. But you're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel on edge, you're going to feel depressed. It actually hurts your physical health if you're with a partner who's unkind towards you and unsafe. But you have that right. But it's really important to stop, questioning the reality that your partner is not safe for you at that point. If they keep pushing back on your boundaries, they'll say they'll change, they don't. They blame you for them. They say that you need to change first and not be so annoying or whatever it is. No, safe people respect your limits. They don't make excuses. They follow through on doing what they need to be safe for you. So you do have the right to stay with your partner if they're not safe for you, but it's really important to be honest with yourself about that, to not feel like, you're driving yourself mad trying to figure out how to make them respect you. Some people are going to respect you and some people aren't, and that is not your fault, and it is not a sign of your worth. It is a sign of a person's character if they're not willing to respect you, not your worth. And at the same time, if you decide, I need safety in my life, I need respect, wonderful. I completely honor that. You have always deserved safety and respect, even if your experiences with your partner, or maybe even growing up, told you otherwise. You do deserve respect. And at that point, the evaluation and consequence period could really be, if you yell at me again, I'm going to need to end this relationship. And then you follow through. You might even start planning ahead. If your partner keeps showing they're unsafe, start saving money so you can move out. Talk to a friend about maybe staying with them short term. Make some plans to actually follow through on leaving them if you set that as a consequence. Because when we don't follow through on our boundaries, when we don't follow through on our consequences, we show other people that they don't need to respect us. And that diminishes our sense of self-respect ultimately. And when we don't respect ourselves, life is miserable, honestly. And so you deserve respect, you deserve self-respect. And so you could follow through on that. And I hope that these tips were helpful for you. If you want support setting boundaries consistently, each and every time you need to, whether you do it the one time or you need to keep setting another boundary if your partner's not respecting this limit of not yelling, I highly recommend that you check out my free boundary setting guide. I created to really simplify this process, that 3-step system. You can use this guide each and every time you need to set a boundary, and with anyone, not just your partner. So that link is in the description if you want to get that guide. And otherwise, if you have any questions, concerns, you tried this and there was, something got tricky, whatever that might be, please give me a comment. I love supporting you personally. It's truly so meaningful for me. And again, I hope that these tips were helpful. I hope that ultimately your partner can be safe for you, but either way, you deserve respect and safety. And I'm sending you so much love until the next video.